On the news, Oye returned as national chairman of APGA. Orumba Council Transition Committee chairman seeks protection of fundamental human rights of children. Federal High Court adjourns delivery of judgment for former Jonathan's aide accused of 1.6 million naira fraud. Volcano in Indonesia island of Bali erupts, threatening residents. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast News this morning. I am David Okwasile. Members of the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Grand Alliance have been sworn in. The National Chairman of APGA, Chief Victor Oye, and the National Secretary of the party, Mr. Labara Maku, were returned. Government House correspondent Ejika Abana reports that the ceremony was performed in the presence of over 1,500 delegates drawn from the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT and diaspora branches. His reports.
The accreditation was performed at Dr. Alex Ekweme Square, after which delegates were conveyed to Professor Dora Akonyele Women's Development Center. Professor Dora Akonyele Women's Development Center, venue of the party's national convention, was filled to capacity, where the members of the National Working Committee were returned through a voice vote. The National Convention also reconstituted members of the Board of Trustees, which includes its chairman, Governor Willie Obiano, Senator Victor Ume, Senator Ifeanyi Ararume, Professor Charles Soludo, and Iyom Bianca Ojukwu. Other members of the BOT include Chief Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu Jr., Chief Anthony Enukeme, Major General John Ball, Dr. Uju Okeke, and 23 others. The National Convention also moved and adopted the motion to amend the party's 2014 constitution as amended, as well as motion to ratify approvals made by the National Working Committee. Speaking, Governor Obiano adjudged the congresses from grassroots to the national level as transparent and peaceful, urging the executives to go ahead and spread the good news of APGA, expressing optimism that more people will join the party as they see its emerging new light.
Let this election of officers let us be like apostles of Jesus Christ. Let today be our Pentecost. So we should be talking in tongues now. Spreading the gospel of Modaya. Very important.
Earlier in his acceptance speech, Chief Victor Oye pledged that the National Working Committee will work to develop the party beyond its present state, stressing that they will continue to win elections for the party till they take over the center stage of the country's political life.
A political party in Nigeria that has witnessed the kind of tranquility and serenity we have witnessed in Nigeria. Other parties are fighting and squabbling. Our party has always held its activities in the most congenial and convenient environment.
Chief Anthony Enukeme expressed happiness at the new appointment into the party's Board of Trustees, saying that he will work harder to ensure that the party continue to have landslide victory in elections.
Africa can now realize what I am doing for them. And now that I have been fortified and given all that it takes to work for Africa, I will do my best.
Speaking to the ABS, the member representing Ihiala 2 constituency at the State House of Assembly, Dr. Pascal Abodike, Transition Committee Chairman for Onitsha North, Mr. Patrick Mba, congratulated the new party executives, asking them to invest in the party's progress and shun personal gains. Oath-taking, presentation of certificates, among others, were high points of the event, held in the presence of INEC observers from Abuja and Ananmbra states. From Professor Dora Akonyele Women's Development Center, Oka, Ejika Abana, ABS News.
It was a carnival of a sort as thousands of Anglican faithful of the Diocese on the Niger converged at the All Saints Cathedral Onitsha for the 2019 Diocesan Homage and Vocation Sunday with the theme, Bring Peculiar Honors to Our King. The Bishop on the Niger, Right Reverend Dr. Owen Wokolo, presided over the Diocesan Homage service. We have details.
Archdeaconries under the Diocese on the Niger, led by their archdeacons, took turns to pay their homage with various gifts, farm produce and displays, followed by other institutions, organizations and schools. bishop on the Niger, Right Reverend Dr. Owen Nwokolo, said today was set aside by the diocese to make formal appreciation with their talents and wealth to God for his too many blessings on them, adding that God owns everything, hence the need to acknowledge his lordship by serving and worshiping him. The bishop, who expressed happiness with the huge success recorded this year, thanked the Anglican faithful for their dedication and efforts.
We don't know how to thank him other than coming in large numbers, coming with our various talents, coming with our various professions to say, God, you have given us all these and we give them back to you. Use it for your glory.
Earlier in a sermon during the homage service, Venerable Ikechukwu Elobisi, in charge of Alo Archdeaconry, said homage is a time when Anglican faithful come to renew their covenant with God, rededicate themselves and show gratitude to God with sacrificial gifts.
There are three persons you give homage. Homage is like tribute. You give homage to God because he is our creator. And that is why we have gathered here. Two, you give homage to a king or somebody in authority. And that is the human aspect of it. Then, the one we normally neglect is that you give homage to the poor, to the needy. Very, very important.
The chairman of 2019 Homage Organizing Committee and Archdeacon Onitsha South Archdeaconry, Venerable Josiah Ofebu, expressed gratitude to the Anglican faithful for their sacrifices and contributions towards the huge success of the 2019 Homage.
This is a very important part of the service. Most of them that came to this service this year, I feel that their faith will be enlivened because they saw that we have a lot of people that are standing by our faith. So this is one of those things. So I believe it will help them to understand that we have a lot of faithful witnesses for the Lord Jesus.
The climax of the homage was the announcement of the results, where Onitsha Central Archdeaconry, led by Venerable Israel Auditor, took the first position under the Urban Archdeaconry category, while Oba Archdeaconry took the first position in presentation and numeric strength under the Rural Archdeaconry. Some of the diocesan projects were highlighted during the service, as well as blessing of businesses by the Bishop Ogochukwu Orano for ABS News.
Over 50% reconstruction work has taken place at Iwileka, St. Luke's, Ekuke Road. Staff reporter Blessing Ijedibia, who was at the community, observed that some roads in the community have been completed courtesy of the state government.
The Iwileka Ekuke Road has been in deplorable conditions with deep gullies before the intervention of the state government. ABS News crew observed that greater percentage of the road have been sand-filled, graded with corresponding drainage channel at both sides of the road. Although, as at the time of this report, no worker was seen at the site, there were heavy-duty equipment at their camp, which the natives say were brought in few days ago. A resident of the area, Mrs. Oluchi Onwonyere, while appreciating the extent of work done so far, called on the state government to compel the contractor handling the project to go back to site and enhance the completion of the road.
Problem I want to be another appeal to mean na my na. Iti opa ona ami.
Blessing Ijedibia, ABS News.
The 2019 edition of the Children's Day celebration may have come and gone, but the echoes continue to linger. At Idemili North Council Area Headquarters, Ogidi, over 75 primary and post-primary schools participated in activities that commemorated the celebration. The colorful event attracted large turnout of school children within the council area. Staff reporter Odnaka Nwolisa completes the story.
Stakeholders, Abga faithful, parents, staff of the council area were in large numbers as the venue of the event was filled to capacity as school children took turn and marched past. In a welcome address, the council boss, Barrister Ralph Nabife, observed that children are the bedrock of society and future leaders. Hence, various government policies based on improving and providing safe environment to realize their creative potentials, reminding them of the need to eschew negative tendencies that will undermine government's effort for their future. Barrister Nabife decried the alarming rate of suicide, charging caregivers and school counselors to show more love and commitment in monitoring the activities of their wards.
His Excellency has paid more attention in issues concerning education in Anambra State. The only way we can support the governor is to make sure that as children, we are law-abiding and that we continue to pay our parents for a better tomorrow.
In a remark, the member representing the Idemili North in the State House of Assembly, Honorable Nkoli Mebuaneze, said the present administration has invested a lot and has created an enabling environment to secure the future of the children in the state, encouraging them on the need to be useful citizens.
Idemili North is the most populated local government as far as Ananmbra State is concerned. My advice to the youth is that they should keep on doing well. The marching is part of exercise. I pray that next year that they will come out en mass to come and celebrate this the next year Children's Day.
In an interview, a stakeholder, Barrister Samuel Chukwuka, said the future relies on the children and youths, stressing the need to channel their potentials positively, cautioning against negative influence that would jeopardize their well-being. Speaking to ABS, some students, including Mary Ann Okafor and Chine Jerome Ganobi, promised to actualize their dreams in making the state and society proud.
I'm promising to actually make them proud by being a good student, actually by knowing why I'm sent to school and trying to fulfill that purpose.
As you see, the celebration is still going on and we enjoyed everything that happened. We are happy. I'm promising as a person that I will be great. I will serve Nigeria as a country.
The event offered the avenue for pupils and students to showcase their talents in form of cultural dances and display. Prizes and trophies were presented to outstanding schools, with St. Joseph the Walker International School and Ekwasompo Bosi emerging the first position in post-primary school category. From Idemili North Council Secretariat, Ogidi, Odinaka Wolisa, reporting.
Similarly, the story was not different at Ananmbra North Council area, where families and communities were charged to take proactive measures to protect the fundamental human rights of children. Speaking at Ajalik during this year's Children's Day celebration, the Transition Committee Chairman of Ananmbra North Council area, Mrs. Ifi Obinabo, lamented the increasing rate of child abuse, molestation, and neglect of children in various parts of the country. We have details. Mrs. Obinabo reminded parents of their primary role of giving children proper moral and ethical reorientation that will enable them become useful and productive members of the society, as well as their duty to protect them from exploitation by irresponsible adults. She stressed the need for parents and guardians to give qualitative education to their children and youths to equip them properly, tackle future life challenges, and urged security agencies and judiciary to take decisive action against those involved in sexual exploitation of children and minors to serve as deterrent to others.
It will be my desire, dear children, that you will stand up to the roles you play to your parents, teachers, the community, and governments. Live clearly with our tradition of peace, love, and securing our great nation.
Also speaking, the House of Assembly member-elect for Ananmbra North, architect Emeka Afoka, called on parents to ensure that their children and youths are properly fed so that they can develop well.
Children have the right to live, they have the right to be well fed. Children are not to be malnutrited. They need to be fed very well so that they will be nourished. Whenever you see them, they will look healthy. That is the essence of feeding them very well.
Highlights of the event include march bursts and cultural displays. A federal high court sitting in Lagos has further adjourned judgment in the case of a former special advisor to ex-president Goodluck Jonathan on domestic affairs, Waripamo Owe-Dudefa, who was charged with 1.6 billion naira fraud. Though Justice Mohammed Idris had fixed Friday to deliver judgment in the case, he told the parties that in the course of writing the judgment, he discovered an area on which the parties would need to further address him. He said he would not want to go ahead with the judgment without taking further address from the lawyers, lest the judgment is overturned at the Court of Appeal. The judge said he had gone through the over 600 pages of statements of accounts tendered as exhibits in the case. He directed the prosecutor, Mr. Rotimi Oyedepo, and the defense counsel, Mr. Boyega Oyewole, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and Mr. Ige Asemudora, to address him on the relationship between the provisions of Sections 27(3)(c) and Sections 72, 16, and 17 of the EFCC Establishment Act. The parties agreed to file their addresses by Monday. The judge said he would then fix a new date for judgment. And on business news, the federal government has approved the second and final tranche of 22.6 billion naira to pay the pension and gratuities of ex-workers of defunct Nigerian Airways. The immediate past Minister for Finance, Zainab Ahmed, has secured the approval of President Muhammad Buhari to the release and subsequently paid the outstanding 50% entitlements. The approval was not unconnected with the move to appease some of the pensioners that had been on protest at the Ministry of Finance Secretariat since the beginning of the week. Recall that about 6,000 senior citizens were penciled to receive payment of salary arrears covering about 5 years and 30% pay rise on account of the national carrier that was liquidated in 2004. Buhari last September approved a sum of 22.68 billion naira for the payment of salary and gratuities. The grant was a part payment of the sum of 45 billion naira of the Federal Executive Council approved for the workers about a year ago. Permanent Secretary, Special Duty Federal Ministry of Finance, Mohammed Dikwa, had promised the protesting pensioners who earlier blocked entrances and exit points into the ministry that their pay will be processed as soon as possible. Ichida Progress Union Onitsha branch has installed Board of Trustees, patrons and ambassadors as partners in piloting the affairs of the union. The ceremony marking the official installation held at the union proposed event center Nkwele Zunanka attracted dignitaries within and beyond the community. Odnaka Nwolita brings us the report.
According to the community, Ichida Progress Union was initiated to foster brotherhood and advance the progress in the area. In his opening remark, the chairman on the occasion, Chief Ndemeke Ebuna, said the vision of the founding fathers in establishing the union has materialized into fruition, appreciating those whose efforts have contributed in uplifting the community. In an address of welcome, the coordinator and vice chairman of the union, Ambassador Evergreen Ikechukwu Ezenwa, said the installation was strategized at sustaining and fostering developmental strides in the branch.
With the assistance of the members of the union, who, amongst others, nominated about 23 candidates for consideration, the Executive Council, after rigorous inquiries and in-house screening, came out with the above God-fearing and humble gentlemen for ratification by the General House, which subsequently brought more development and progress in IPU Onitsha branch.
Earlier, a guest and former chairman of Haneze Ndibo, Chief Chris Eluomuno, who underscored their think-home philosophy, said that Nkwele is fast-developing urban area, calling on all and sundry to take advantage of their hospitable and accommodating spirit. Speaking to the ABS, some trustees promised to record more fees for the Onitsha branch of the union. In an interview, some of the awardees, Sir Amamchukwu Okaf and Sir Anthony Ezane, alongside Chief Okudiri Ezemune, who was the installed ambassador of the community, while appreciating them for the recognition, reassured of more purposeful services to God and humanity.
I'm asking the Jida. We know about when Honanya never 1 year. Here was 1 year. Not 3 or no get at the guy. I got a year back. I did it. Gobble,
about to develop the site. So I believe that God Almighty will grant them all their wishes.
Presentation of certificate and plaque formed the highlight of the installation ceremony. From Nkwele Zunanka, Odinaka Nwolisa reporting.
And now to the foreign scene. A volcano on the Indonesian island of Bali erupted yesterday, spewing a plume of ash and smoke more than 2,000 meters into the sky. Mount Agong, about 70 kilometers from the tourist hub of Kuta, has been erupting periodically since it rumbled back to life in 2017, sometimes grounding flights and forcing residents to flee their homes. The latest eruption shortly shot a cloud of volcanic ash high into the sky but caused no disruption to flights. Indonesia's geological agency has said Agong remained at the second highest danger warning level, and there is a 4-kilometer no-go zone around the crater. Last summer, dozens of flights were cancelled after Agong erupted, while tens of thousands of locals fled to evacuation centers after an eruption in 2017. The last major eruption of Agong in 1963 killed around 1,600 people. Indonesia is situated on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a vast zone of geological instability where the collision of tectonic plates caused frequent quakes and volcanic activity. And now, the long-awaited day is here. Liverpool and Tottenham fans are making their way to Madrid for the Champions League final in the English clash that will hold today, 8 p.m. local time. With both teams having to make remarkable comebacks in the semi-finals, many fans were faced with making last-minute arrangements. Experts are predicting a record number of flights using British skies, with so many fans heading to the final and more this morning. About 9,000 flights were predicted to have taken off from the UK yesterday, which will exceed the previous record of 8,884 set on 25 May 2018. Air traffic controller NATS has predicted an extra 800 flights will take off over the weekend. And that's saying congratulations ahead to both teams. Any team that comes home with the trophy will certainly receive our commendations. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/ABS Radio TV Online. Follow us on Twitter at ABS Radio TV and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And now, before we go, here are the main points again. Oye has been returned as the national chairman of APGA. Ananmbra Council Transition Committee chairman is seeking the protection of fundamental human rights of children. The Federal High Court has adjourned delivery of judgment for former Jonathan's aide accused of 1.6 million naira fraud. Volcano has erupted in the Indonesian island of Bali, threatening residents. And that is the news on Breakfast News this morning. I am David Okpokwasole.